So I was writing an email putting this together to send to you all and realized that all the material and trying to show you where to see some good examples of OER material being produced was going to be a really long email. So instead of that, here's a short video to do three things. One is to show you some examples of some OER sites and projects going on that I'm a part of in the US, show you some examples closer to home here in the UK, and then third and probably really importantly to this that's often left out is grants, is the amount of money that just really briefly that you could see how much is out there to help fund projects like this and to create good projects. There's a huge push around the world to create OER material, and not all of it's good. So be able to have the financial backing to create some good quality stuff does enhance the university's image with branding. If we can't do academic roadshows in this new COVID world, this is a way to replace that, as we talked about. So let me just show you a few things. So let's begin a little closer to home. This is University of Edinburgh's Open Ed. So this is their OER material. It's a whole platform. It's a whole site dedicated to OER. If you go to Edinburgh's OERs, which is pretty cool, it shows you the different strands, the different types of material that they're making available in OERs, and by different colleges as well. So it's very user-friendly. It's to be able to find information. If you click on that, you see the resources that are there that are able to be adapted into your classroom. And again, it's fantastically put together for a good, easy use, and shows some information and branding very well. Another one that's doing it that's pretty good is UCL. What I like about this particular page is it shows you as an instructor how to turn your teaching resources into an OER. So this is a great way that instructors, faculty are going online, creating material with the back of their mind thinking all this work is going to be for nothing because pretty soon you're going to be back in the classroom. So this helps all that work and energy being creating online material to not just be used once, but then to be rebranded and re-put into a different form. And this is a good way to kind of help teach their staff how to do that. So to give you an example of one of the projects I'm a part of, is the World History Project connected to the OER project. This is the World History Project. Right now it's dedicated to high schools, being able to have material utilized in high schools around the US. But it's also being looked at right now for higher education, undergrad classes. And to just give you an overview, so the idea of it is there's each one of these, it's its own era, it's this big theme, each one is a class, and if you click on that, they've created the material working with instructors, faculty from universities all over the world, and the best really for world history. And they have the introduction, activities, the videos, different discussions, everything's in there, including the videos that are very well put together. And this is a good, useful way for them to have all this material, and it's up to date. This is an important thing to look at because textbooks, information that most students are getting now in the world, textbooks are about 30 years behind in whatever the field. It takes a while for the material to come out to be able to make it. So they're always about 30 years behind. This takes that away. This is up to date. This is the newest stuff. This is by active faculty from around the world collaborating together and putting things together. So this is an example of a big project that's doing very well. Now, one of the system-wide higher education systems that is creating an OER project we talked about is the California Community College system. There are 116 community colleges in the state of California, and they have their own grant. That's a state bill that was passed a few years ago in 2015, AB 798. And this gave them $5 million to create a system-wide project of OER material. This has been great, and it's been really interesting to see, especially in the last couple of years. So last year was the first cohort of programs having to call out, get funding. I think it was $50,000 for each of the programs that they were doing. And this year, 2020, is a second wave of this initiative. Now, a big part of this that was created for the state was based on by a system of, and the funding of the Heal It Foundation. which has been putting a lot of money into open education resources. In fact, this last 2019, they awarded $14 million for OER creation. So this is just one of those other funding opportunities with Hewlett Foundation and the international initiative to create open education resources around the world. Another important example and funding opportunity for grant-funded OER material is UNESCO. UNESCO is putting out a lot of information lately about OER projects. A lot of universities around the U.S. are attaching their OER projects to UNESCO. I believe the Edinburgh one had some connections with this one as well. So this is a good resource to be able to see what they do and how UNESCO is teaming up and collaborating to create OER material. Now, lastly, the last one I want to show you is called the OER Commons. This is another one that I've been working with. It's useful if you don't have the platform to create this sort of stuff. If we don't have the money to have the web pages made, this is a great place to be able to have them work with them to create it. For example, there's different hubs, as they call them, from different universities, even high schools. The California Community College System has their own hub where all of them are able to collaborate together. The Nordic University, this is an interesting one looking at health. And they've collaborated with different universities to create OER, and they're partnering universities listed here. And the idea that they're working together to create material, to have faculty working together on shared interests of not so much research, but for teaching material. It's a little different way of looking at it. So pedagogically bringing things together in these different themes to create material that can then be used in any education level, any university, any high school even, that are talking about these things, and to use those and integrate it into the class. So this is, again, this is OER Hub, or this is the OER Commons, and going to the OER Hubs. And this is a way to be able to work with them, have it all in their system, and then link this and to be able to share this. So the idea of this one is be able to work with them, create one for University of Exeter's OER, for example, and then sharing that link with possible partners or possible people that would use it, and explain to them what we have to offer. So that is one of the things that could be done here. And so yeah, so that's OER in a nutshell. So there's some good examples here in the UK that people are doing. I think we can kick it up a notch and really showcase what University of Exeter has to offer, especially with digital humanities, being able to have that in there. And then even having a call out. I could see this having a call out to some of the potential partners and saying, what would they like us to have? Here's some of the different things we have to offer. What are some materials that we could collaborate together or that could be made that would be useful for some of the classes that are being taught, and have them part of the process and almost make them feel like it's a bespoke system and being part of the thing from the ground up. So this is a lot of opportunities and ways and creativity to be able to use OER projects and OER material. And I'm just really excited maybe to get this going for Exeter. Thanks for listening.